let's jump straight into the economic calendar and then into some markets. So this week's not too busy, to be fair. We've got Bank of England, US consumer confidence, Trump speaking, consumer price index for euro, crude oil inventories, jobless claims. It's not too bad. Last week was a killer compared to this week, so I think we've got it light this week. We should be not too caught up in the volatility of the week. So kicking things off with breaking down the indexes. So we've got the US dollar. Looking at it on a higher time frame, this to me is very much so still bearish. If we zoom in, this price action here is still bearish to me. Although we did have a bullish engulfing weekly close last week, we are still ultimately in a downtrend on this market. This does not fill me with too much confidence, just because from this level here, I would have liked to see a continuation down, but instead we had a move up. If we have a daily full body close above this area here, so something like this, then I think my bias short term might flip to bullish. But for now, we are still quite bearish on the DXY. I think if we go down to the 4-hour time frame, what I could look for here, so the 4-hour is bullish, so ideally when we're looking through the indexes, we want at least 2 time frames to be in sync, whether it be the weekly and the daily, or the daily and the 4-hour. So at the moment we've got the weekly, which is bearish, and the daily, which is also bearish until we full body close this area here, just like that. So because the weekly and the daily are both bearish, our bias on the DXY is bearish. On the 4-hour, if we have a full body close on the daily, this will probably have another move higher like that, and potentially one of these EMAs will wrap around to then take it long some more. But other than that, I think safest bet here is a break below here, something like this, with this EMA then following through to take it short. I think is our safest option for taking the DXY short. Euro, going from the weekly, again ultimately if we look at significant highs and lows, we've got the significant low here, significant high, significant low, high, low. This is a significant high, and potentially this is going to be the significant low. So overall, this is still a bullish market. We've just had a long run here, and we are having a retracement for a potential run to the upside again. Going to the daily, we are consolidating, we are wicking off this daily 200 EMA. Again, on the 4-hour, still consolidating. I think if we have a clean break up here, retracement with this 4-hour 50 wrapping around to take it long from there, or we break below here, again with this 4-hour 50 wrapping around to take it short some more. But at the moment we are consolidating, not really making too much movement on the euro. Again, patience is key. We will be sitting on our hands with that one. Yen, righto. Yen is massively bearish and has been for a very long time, and will always continue to be, because it just helps yen's trade, their currency being bearish. Apart from the one anomaly candlestick here, the weekly bullish candlestick, we did actually close below the daily 50 EMA here, so potentially what we could see is some downwards continuation. I think as we are below the 12-hour 50 EMA, the 8-hour 50 EMA, the 4-hour 200 and the 4-hour 50, I believe if we see a potential drive down and then a retest with this EMA following through to take it short, then I will definitely be looking for some yen sells this week. Pound, we are at the edge of this range box that we've got drawn out. So looking at it on the daily, you can see when we come out of this box, we drive back in on both sides, here. So we come out, drive back in, drive back in, drive back in. Here we have broken below it, so we could see a drive back in, but we will let price show us what it will be doing before we look to execute any longs or shorts with the pound. So what we would like to see is a break above this area here, coming back down with this 4-hour 50 wrap around to take it long, is what we would like to see. Australian dollar, we are moving up as we thought we would be. It's a tough one because we are in the middle of a move. I think before we want to see any pullbacks, I think ideally a break and close above this level, so like a little bit higher, to then get the pullback into the averages to take it long would be great. Nothing more to say about the Australian dollar, I don't think. Apart from once we get to this horizontal blue level, we do need to be fairly careful of some resistance. Canadian dollar, still bearish, consolidating on the daily, which isn't too great. Yeah, I think what I would like to see, we either take out these lows and then come back for a retest, or we break above with that 4-hour 200 wrapping round to take it long. Nice and easy. Swiss franc, again, very techie one. This is still kind of consolidating. Like, are we downtrending? Are we uptrending? We're just kind of in this pattern where we don't really know what we're doing. Ultimately, for extra confirmation, a break above here, above this level, with some EMAs wrapping around, something along them lines to take it long, or a break below here to take it short. But we are on a slow and steady climb upwards, so you never know, we could have an explosive move either way, but it does look like we are gradually getting higher. So yeah, I think we could see some movement to the upside from here. And then the New Zealand dollar, we are still above the weekly 50 EMA, kind of sitting on this blue horizontal level of support at the moment, sitting on top of this 12-hour 50 EMA. What I would like to see is a break above this level here, and then coming back down to retest the averages to then go long. However, if we are falling and we do get some short opportunities, something like that to go short as well will do. So yeah, I think at the moment the currencies which are showing the most promise is, of course, AUD strength, because we are moving up, and potentially yen weakness. Everything else is kind of a waiting game to see what happens. So if we go to AUD JPY, I do have an alert already set here at just above the, or in between, at 108.719, ultimately just above the 8-hour 50 EMA, because I would like to see just a drive into this area to then go and take it long from there, is what I would like to see. Probability says we just continue the move from here upwards and then probably see some sort of retracement at a later date, but we will see. We will wait and see what happens. But AUD JPY looks the best for this week. Right now, Bitcoin is still kind of sitting on top of this daily 200 EMA. We've got about an hour and 10 minutes till this candlestick closes. I don't like the fact that it's not closing above the daily 200, but we could just see like a close test of it for next week. Ideally, I would like to see in some rejection from the daily 200 and then a move to the upside. And then if we wanted to look at oil is coming into this area here of support and resistance, coming into it for some resistance, which was once used as support. We either get a clean break above this area for a continuation up, or we reject it completely and then start having a move to the downside. I think in the next coming week, the US and Iran may settle their beef. So if they do and they come to some sort of terms, then oil will gradually come back down. So we could see some shorts just based off of geopolitical talks and tensions being eased. But yeah, so we will watch and see what happens here. I'm gonna leave this one alone for now. Gold and silver, I am looking for some sort of positions to go long, but between the two, if we look at the gold silver chart, what I'd like to see is silver's more of an erratic mover, it's more volatile. So I think if we break below here and get a retest of this 4-hour 200 to take silver short, so silver would be stronger over gold. I think by then we could see a cleaner break above this area here, and then potentially having a retest of this 4-hour 200. But yeah, I think the only thing we're kind of looking at for this week is AUD JPY. Just yet, anyway. Like it's the one thing that kind of looks the most interesting. I think we're going to have to sit on our hands a little bit for today and tomorrow even, just to see how this market plays out and potentially see what tomorrow evening brings. Now, for some reason, I did try record this on Monday, but just realized there was no audio. Not sure why, but here we are having to do the same thing again, feeling the same pain twice. And yes, pain, because if you haven't yet already figured it out, this position was an L. Our TP was definitely not that high. But yeah, unfortunately, we did get wicked out and then flew straight to TP. So just to quickly break down this position once again and to actually let you know where it went wrong. Australian dollar index, where were we? At the start of the week, we were around this region here, and I did say any pulls into the averages to go long would be great. We had a pull into the average just there, and we have had the move up. Yen was a bit of a trickier one because Sunday open, we were about here. We had this drive up during the night back to this level here. When we draw our fib from this swing high to the swing low, this is a 50% retracement on the fib, but it's also the daily 50 EMA tap. So we rejected the daily 50 here, as you can see, wicked into it many times, had that pushed down. We broke above it, rejected it from above, and then we broke back below, and we was looking to get in off of the rejection again of the daily 50 at this level of support and resistance and the 50% retracement on the fib to have the move down, which ultimately, yes, we did. However, when we made our entry, which was off of more or less this bearish candlestick here, we had the drive down initially and then we had a move up. We entered the ADJPY off of this bullish candlestick here, so this blue one just right here. Yen had a move up, so it showed strength. As this, at the same time, the Australian dollar showed weakness, which went completely against our position. So then coming back to our position, yen strength and Australian dollar weakness was this area here, which then ultimately caused wickage and took us out of our position to then moon thereafter. There's many things I could say about why this position went wrong. I could have said tariff situation in America, talking about refunding tariffs caused some sort of uncertainty, which meant safe havens benefited and obviously risk currencies didn't. And as AUD is a risk on currency, it had a bit of a pullback. We could say, as there's an area of liquidity here, we could have potentially waited for a deeper retracement to then take it long. Like there's a lot we can say, but ultimately I was working off of this 4-hour structure here. So rejecting the 4-hour 50, rejecting the 38.2 on the fib, rejecting this level of support and resistance, and then we had the drive up initially. So it was all going well at the start of the day. I wasn't mad at the position, but yeah, then things ultimately just took a turn. We had a move up, an aggressive push down, and then yeah, just absolutely took off. So sucks, to be honest. There's not much we can do here about this. Is it my fault? Is it not my fault? It's a bit of both. It's a trading game is what it is. So as we do carry on in the week, we are midweek at the moment. It is Wednesday. The US dollar is still rejecting this daily 50 area here, so it doesn't at the moment look like we're going to get a breakout above here and a close above the daily 50. So what we could look to see is potentially a break below this level here and then a retest just like that to come short. Euro is kind of still in this range but having a bit more of an upwards move, so potentially a breakout to the upside for euro would be great. Yen at that area died. Any pullbacks, I guess, into the averages potentially to go short would be amazing. The pound, we are now having that move as we did wick out of this range. So we wicked out of the range here as we have done above and below. So once we have wicked out, we do typically come back in. So now we've come out of this range. We're slowly making an upwards trend. So that was the low, high, low, high, so on and so forth. AUD, we are at this inflection point. Key support and resistance at this area here. So going all the way across, you can see we've rejected many times before. So see what happens. We have been on an absolute runner for many, many weeks. CAD ranging, leaving it alone. Swiss franc ranging, also leaving it alone. The New Zealand dollar is kind of having a move up now. I think a break above this level here. a break above here first before any retracements to go long is what we'll be looking for. Oil is slowly having a rejection from that 67 mark here, so our highlighted area of interest. I will keep an eye on this because at the moment, if we were to take any shorts from this level here, to me it'd more or less still be a counter trend trade because this is still a bullish market. So I guess a break potentially below this level here and get below the daily 50 to then short it would be ideal, I believe. And then as for silver, we broke below this level here, just waiting for a potential pullback if we get it into this 4-hour 200 before taking silver strength plays. So if we do again on the 4-hour of silver, get potentially a pullback of some sorts from maybe this area here. If we can get a really quick drive down into this 38.2 on the fib. So ultimately, when we look for Fibonacci retracements, the 38.2 is a sharp retracement. So after an impulsive move up, a sharp retracement to the 38.2 to then continue a run is what we look for. So with silver, as it is quite volatile and it does have very fast movements, a shoot up for a shallow retracement to the 38.2 is more than ideal. Also at the 38.2 is the 4-hour 50, the 8-hour 50 and the 12-hour 50 all sitting at that area. If we can get a move into this area here, retesting these previous highs as well, some liquidity there, I think would be a great trade to take. Potentially have something like this. If we do come into the area, something like that would be amazing if we get it. Of course, commodities tend to run and never stop running, so pullbacks would be ideal, but we won't hold our breath. Too many times we've seen this happen when I've called the right trade, just have not executed it in the right way. I was right about the rejection of this daily 50 for yen to have the move down, but ultimately our execution on AUD/JPY was incorrect. But anyway, going forward from here, now we have that clear bullish structure after breaking these highs. Any pullbacks potentially into this ascending trend line from this level, a third tap on this trend line somewhere within this region would be great. So yeah, we'll look for some potential pullbacks to go along. But other than that, there's not too much else to talk about this week. Unless we do have that silver move, I don't think there's anything else that we're going to look to take for this week. But yeah, we'll see what happens. All right, ladies and gents, as the week is now at an end, all we can say is we fucked up. But then again, in saying that, we wouldn't have caught this move anyway, because from where we entered, we were protecting these lows. Valid. I don't see a world where my stop loss would have been down here. That doesn't make sense. If I've entered a position like this, I don't see why I would need to have my stops this low. I would still be protecting just this low here. And if I was to wait for price to come into this ascending trend line, I wouldn't have got the ideal entry anyway, because what time is this? Midnight, this is 1 a.m. and then coming up to about 6-ish. So this is 6 to 7 candlestick would have been ultimately, if we're protecting them lows, we wouldn't have entered off of this candlestick here. We wouldn't have had something like that. And we definitely wouldn't have entered off of this massive candlestick there. So basically, if we would have waited, we wouldn't have caught the move anyway. So it is what it is. Moving on, oil. I was expecting some calmer tensions between US and Iran. So from this level, I was expecting more of a downwards move to break below here to then continue some sort of downside movement, because I thought US and Iran, they may sort out their differences. Oh, how wrong was I? Because the day is currently Saturday. It's 20 past 10 at night. Iran has sent off bombs already. They've sent off missiles to the Middle East. They've been bombed themselves by Israel. Like, come the morning or Sunday, come market open, like, this could absolutely pop off. It could be peak. This would have been a pretty good entry, to be honest, off of the 12-hour 50 rejection, 8-hour 50 rejection from there. On the daily, I believe we're at. So this horizontal level here, used as resistance, some sort of support. Yeah, I guess just some sort of support and resistance going across. So yeah, it kind of sucks to be honest, but who would have thought? Yeah, I've just kind of put out this position, this long position on the screen just to see what would have happened. Silver as well. Unfortunately, we didn't get our ideal entry. I wanted price to come into this area here. If we draw a fib from the swing low to that swing high there, we were looking for a 38.2% retracement, or even into this area here. We didn't get that. I was looking for multiple rejections off of EMAs, so 12-hour 50, 8-hour 50, 4-hour 50, potentially even the 4-hour 200. Multiple rejections at that area. We didn't get it. Ultimately, we just had a move from this level here. If we look at gold and silver chart, you can see we did actually come into this area which we were speaking about. We did reject the 4-hour 200, wicked into the 8-hour 50, 12-hour 50, and then had the rejection from that area. So looking at it, potentially, if we solely went off of this chart here, the rejection from this area, we could use this gold silver chart as like an index. So we could have longed from this position, which is, let's just say, if we entered really off of this candlestick here, which would have been an 8 p.m. close, so 7 till 8 candlestick. If we go to silver, 7 till 8 candlestick is this one right here. So we could have entered actually and done something like that. But then again, technicals on this chart, potentially I would have covered this area here. Yeah, it just didn't make sense to me at the time, which is fine. I am not positioned at all in this whole Iran and US war. I believe markets are going to be very, very volatile and very gappy come Monday or Sunday open. So there's nothing I could really say, to be honest, as of right now, apart from Monday is going to be very, very interesting.